All right, Papa John's had over 2,800 units open just in the US last year and a lot more globally. We'll talk about that in just a minute. With their promise of better ingredients and better pizza, can they close the gap with Domino's? But most importantly for you, you're probably thinking, is the $989,000 investment worth it to open up a Papa John's? How much do these locations make? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tarek Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of Franchise Empire, where we have helped hundreds of people just like you find, vet, and launch proven money-making franchises. So let's talk about Papa John's. Let's talk a little bit about them. Then we're going to talk about how much they cost to open, how much they make, all of that good stuff that you're probably super curious about and why you clicked on this video. So Papa John's was founded in 1984 by John Papa Schnatter in Indiana. 1984 is, can you guess, is that before or after I was born? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? But he sold his Camaro to buy used equipment and installed a pizza oven in a broom closet behind his father's pub. I think that's really cool, right? Because what it shows is the resourcefulness of creators and entrepreneurs, right? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. The guy started in a freaking broom closet. I probably would not want to eat that pizza though. It sounds nasty. In 1999, the company moved into its Louisville corporate headquarters. I used to work with a guy who was from Louisville, and he'd say it's Louisville. It's Louisville, had an interesting pronunciation. But Papa John's was responsible for inventing the pizza dipping sauce, which sparked a trend enjoyed by many. By the way, I love the garlic butter sauce. If you've never had the garlic butter sauce, it's fantastic. And then NBA legend Shaq joined the brand and the board and became a franchisee in 2019. And they created the oversized Shaq-a-roni pizza that has extra cheese and over 60 pepperonis. And he continues as a brand ambassador to this day. If you guys didn't know, there was a huge controversy years ago with Papa John's and I think the NFL and some of the comments of the founder, and I think he actually wound up stepping down. That's not on my script here, but I just thought it was interesting to say. I know there was some sort of controversy and drama around Papa John's. All right, so how many locations does Papa John's have worldwide? They have over 6,000 locations globally, and they operate in almost 50 countries, making it the fourth largest pizza delivery chain in the US. All right, so trivia. If this is the first time watching these sort of videos where we break down specific franchises, we break down how many locations they have, how much money they make, their startup costs, we always do a trivia. So here's the trivia for this video. Can you guess which year that Papa John introduced its famous dipping sauce, the one that completely changed how people enjoy their crust? Let me know in the comments below. All right, startup costs. So how much? How much would it cost you if you wanted to open up a Papa John's location? Well, number one, I think it would be very difficult to actually find availability and territory to open up a new location. But just in case, let's say that you did, well, a traditional location ranges from $261,000 to about $853,000 to get up and open. Their franchise fees between $5,000 and $25,000, which that's pretty cheap. Most franchises now, the average franchise fee is like $40,000 to $50,000, by the way. A lot of these brands are really making the money on the ongoing fees, but they have a 6% marketing fund fee, right? That's a really high marketing fund fee. A lot of franchise brands are between 1% and 3%, but wherever you look, you see commercials and branding and all sorts of stuff for Papa John's. Now, they also charge 5% of net sales on royalty. Your question might be, what's net sales versus just sales or gross sales? Net sales is typically not including tax, right? So you could say that your location did $500,000 in sales, but that's including the sales tax that you collect. So, and actually it's usually not including taxes or discounts. I don't want to get super technical about how numbers show in a profit and loss statement, but net sales is basically the actual amount of cash that you're collecting for the business, not including sales tax. Now, non-traditional investment units, like you may see a Papa John's in the mall, you may see one in the airport, you could see one on a college campus. That's what would be considered like a non-traditional unit. Those range from $111,000 to $403,000 to get up and open. Only a $5,000 franchise fee for those locations, 5% royalty, And they also have something called the 6% small town, non-traditional royalty. So I would imagine that's, if you're in a small town. In that location, in the small town ones, you could have up to 25% marketing fund fee, which is pretty wild. All right, so I got an explanation for you on the small town. I'm gonna read it right off of here just so I make sure that I get all of the details for you. But for small town, non-traditional locations, these are typically lower volume or non-standard venues like convenience stores, colleges, or small towns, and the royalty and marketing contributions are often bundled together into a single simplified payment. In this case, the 5% marketing fund fee is already included in their total royalty marketing contribution, and it's not charged separately. So hopefully that helps. By the way, if you find this video breakdown helpful, and we're getting ready to get into the sales and earnings of the Papa John's locations, but if you like this style of video where we talk about all of the numbers, right, in terms of locations open, startup costs, and then how much the average franchisee or units are doing in terms of sales, then you 100% probably would want to get our 42 high-performing franchises. It's a list of 42 high-performing franchises, high-performing meaning they produce a significant amount of sales, and we have these very short, easily digestible breakdowns in a PDF for you, and there's actually some accompanying videos. So go click the link down below and you'll be able to grab that for free. That is my gift to you for tuning in. All right, so the part that you've probably been waiting for, how much do these bad boys make in terms of money? So the top 50% of franchise stores in 2024, according to their FDD, made anywhere between 1.06 million, so $1,068,000 to $3,056,000 in sales, and averaged about 1.4 million in net sales. And then the average across the over 2,000 locations in the US, or at least the 2,365 that were disclosed in their FDD, open for the full year 2024, that was 1.1 million. So again, if you've watched any of my videos before, I talk about sales to investment ratio, and that you want your sales to investment ratio to be dialed in, right? And for a brick and mortar, you want to look for about a 2-to-1 sales to investment ratio at least. So if we take 261,000 to 853,000, which is the range of getting those locations open, that's about 1.1 million. 1.1 million divided by 2, 550,000. So we would want to see average sales 2 times that amount, and we do. Right? 550 times 2, that brings us back to the 1.1 million number. So I think if you're in that middle startup range, then the opportunity for you to make some money could be good. If you're on the higher end of that startup range, well, hopefully your location is one of the top performing locations that's closer, to that $2 million in sales mark, and maybe even up to $3 million in sales. They still have nothing on Chick-fil-A though. Chick-fil-A, their average sales are crazy, and we'll leave a link down below for a video that we've done on Chick-fil-A in case you're curious about them. In terms of the answer to the trivia, if you stuck around, the answer was 1984 for when they invented the pizza dipping sauce. That's the year that they launched their garlic dipping sauce. So I'm curious, what do you think? Would you open a Papa John's location? And if you found out that one 10 minutes away from you was for sale, would you buy it? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this style of video, we break down all of the franchises on the Entrepreneur's Top 500 list, just like this. You can check out that playlist right here, and don't forget to subscribe before you go. See you on the next one.